All right, everybody, Math 2, unit conversions. So there's different types of unit systems. Metric is one, English is one. The old pharmacy was a system called the apothecary system. So you're going to have to recognize which system is which and how to convert between the two. So last time in Math 1, I made you guys take a look at the conversion factors. Have you memorized them? Some. 1 ml is 1 cc. At least that one, 1 to 1, right? So make sure you commit those to memory. Another system that we'll be using is household system. So you guys are familiar with that in SIG codes, remember? We didn't use 5 mLs, 10 mLs, ounces. We used teaspoons and tablespoons. So that's another type of a unit system. Are you guys familiar with the metric system? What is the metric system? Something that everyone else uses besides the United States, right? So for them, the metric system, you measure volume. That's how much space something occupies by the units in liters. So that's space, measuring how much space something occupies. Mass, that's how much something, for easy understanding, how much something weighs, right? So that's a gram. In the metric system, that's it. We only measure anything with mass by gram. And length, right, or distance, in the metric system, it is only meter. That's it. 1 unit for every dimension of analysis. In other systems, they have multiples. For example, the English system, we have cups, gallons, quarts, pints, cubic meters, a lot of different ones, right? And it gets kind of complex. Mass, there's weird ones. How much is a ton? You guys heard of that? How much is a ton? 1,000 what? 1,000 kilograms or 1,000 pounds? Are you talking about an English ton or an American ton? Right? So, what do you talk about? So, it's ambiguous. Here, they standardize everything. So, if I am in China and I need to talk to some guy in Germany who needs to talk to some guy in France, it's all the same. Right? So, standardization. So, the base units all have a value of 1. And you guys are familiar with base 10s, right? Yeah, base 10. That's our system of numbers, is the base 10 system. All right, kilo, prefixes. What do prefix do? They modify. So kilo means 1,000. That's what it means. And as you guys recall, the base unit is 1. Milli means 1/1,000th. And milli means 1/1,000,000th. Right? So between 1 and 1,000, how many fold difference is that? 1,000-fold difference, right? Between 1 and 1/1,000, how many fold difference is that? 1,000. And between 1/1,000th and 1/1,000,000th, it's 1,000-fold difference. So every step, there is a 1,000-fold difference. How do you multiply by 10? What do you add? Add 1 0, right? How do you multiply by 100? You add 2 0. How do you multiply by 1,000? You add 3 0. There you go. So we're going to add 3 zeros or take away 3 zeros when we are converting within the metric system. So this trick only works if you're doing metric to metric. So here are the units in the metric system and their corresponding values. So just know for microgram, we use mcg. Good thing in pharmacy, we usually only use those 3 prefixes, kilo, milli, and micro. Other disciplines, they might use other ones like centi or deca or micron. Right? You guys heard of micron? Yeah, or nano. All right, multiplying by 3, you add 3 zeros, right? Move the decimal 3 spaces to the right. Bam. So here's the decimal, move it 3 spaces. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. Here's the new decimal point. So how about divide by 1,000? You just move it this way. 1, 2, 3. But remember, you gotta document it in proper notation. So multiplying by 1,000, move it this way. Dividing by 1,000, move it this way. Now there's a little chart that will help you organize when to do what. So you want to list the units from largest to smallest. If you forget, just stick out your thumb and index finger. Which side is the loser on? The left side. So the largest units on the left side. So kilo, gram, milligram, microgram. 3 dots in the middle to let you know that there's a 3-fold or a 3 decimal difference in between each unit. Also works for liters and mLs. So which one goes to the left side on volume? Same thing, index finger and thumb. Liters is to the left. All right, largest on the left, liters to the left. That's how you remember. All right, so let's go and put this into action. Going from grams to milligrams. So use this chart here. We start off in grams, and we're going to move the decimal 3 spaces to the right. So here's the decimal point, and if I move it 3 spaces, what is my answer? It's going to be how much? Yeah, 50,000. That's how easy it is to convert within the metric system. So that was grams to milligrams. So now let's do grams to micrograms. So if we go from grams to micrograms, how many spaces is it? Yeah, it's 3 plus 3 more. So here is our dot. Now we got to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the new home. What's our final answer? 50 million. That's it. Nice and easy, right? Just move the decimal point in multiples of 3. 3, 6, or 9. That's it. All right, let's try this one. Grams to kilos. This time, how many spaces left or right? 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3. Here's its new home. What's our final answer? 0.05. No trailing zeros. Good. You caught yourself there. All right, you almost killed somebody, but then you saved them. All right.
Thank you.
She's causing drama just to justify her job. No. Kilograms to milligrams. How many spaces left or right? 6 to the right. So let's see. Kilograms to milligrams. So let's see. Yep. So we got 0.038, and we moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's its new home. So yep, 38,000. Not bad, not bad. All right, let's try this next one. So we were at Mike's. We're going to grams. So yeah, it's 6. So we got 53.4, but this time we're moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's tiny, tiny number, right? 4 zeros. 0.0000. So let's see if we got it. 0.0000. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. All right, you got it, dude. Let's try green now. All right, how many spaces left or right? Milligrams to grams. Can't really see that. 3 to the left. So let's see. 25. This one doesn't show up very well. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Yep. 0.02575. All right, metric's not too bad, right? Just remember on the left side is the largest, and liters ... mLs. So when you use scratch paper, first thing you put on the top are those. Yeah. All right, so make sure you guys memorize your conversion factor. Now this is where a lot of students will get lost, because you have to memorize and get familiar with your units. Make your flashcards, commit them to memory. It'll help you out quite a bit. So let's see, cc, cubic centimeter, teaspoons, tablespoons, ounce, cups, pints, quarts, gallons, liters. All those units you guys are familiar with. These are going to be our equivalents. DR is dram. For us, it's the same as a teaspoon, right? 5 mLs. Kilograms a pound. 1 pound is 16 ounces. GR is grain. GRAIN. Because GM is gram. These are not the same. GR, grain. GM, gram. Feet and inches. 1 foot, 12 inches. 1 tick mark is foot. 2 tick marks, inches. Meter, centi. There's that centi again. How many is in centi? 100. And then 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So these are the basic ones to get down in your memory. All right, you guys ready? Ready for English metric conversion? I'm going to tell you the trick. You either multiply or divide by the conversion factor. That is it. Right? That's all you have to do. You got the conversion factors now that you're going to be familiar with. All you do is either multiply or divide. That's it. It's going to be your job to figure out when to do which. All right, what happens when you multiply a number by 1? All right, 250 times 1, same. A third times 1, the power of 1. What if you divide a number by 1? What happens? Doesn't. 250 divided by 1? Same. A third divided by 1? Ooh, you didn't know 1 was that powerful, right? So we're going to use the power of 1 to do our conversions. All right, a number divided by itself. What's the value? Take any number divided by itself. 250 divided by 250? The power of 1 again. A third divided by a third? 1. All right, so therefore, if we have a dozen, what does that equal? 12. So when we put units to a number, it changes the entire meaning. So what does a dozen mean? 12. What does 12 mean? 12. It just means 12. It's the number. So when you put units, it changes the value. So you got to be wary of that. So what if I got a dozen and I divide it by 12? What do I get? 1, right? Because they're equal. What if I get 12 and divide that by a dozen? 1. So it doesn't matter which way I write it. If I divide something by itself, it is 1. Our conversion factors are 1 because they're equal, right? So that means every conversion factor we have, we can use it as a version of 1. So 1 teaspoon equals what? 5 mLs. 1 teaspoon divided by 5 mLs equals 1. 5 mLs divided by 1 teaspoon equals 1. So the first thing we do, we're going to divide by 1. So this is just a placeholder. That's all it is. Take your starting, put it over 1. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to use your conversion factor. Are you going to use 1 teaspoon over 5 mLs or 5 mLs over 1 teaspoon? And the way you know is look at the units here. These units will tell you what units you need at the bottom. So the way you'll write it is 1 teaspoon per 5 mLs. Why do you write it this way? You want the units to cancel. So here the units will cancel and you're left in teaspoon, which is what is requested. Right? So all you got to do is crunch the numbers. And to do the math, it's real easy. All the numbers on top multiply together. All the numbers on the bottom divide. So 50 times 1 divided by 1 times 5. Right? So take 50 times 1 and all these numbers you divide. Divide by 1, divide by 5. Anything that's 1, however, you can just leave out. Right? Because you multiply by 1, divide by 1, it's the same answer. So just focus on the numbers. So it's 50 divided by 5, since 5 is in the bottom. And that's all you got to do. If you have 50 mLs, that's going to be equal to 10 teaspoons. Right? So what did we do? We took 50. Did we multiply or did we divide by the conversion factor? We divided. That's it. 50-50 chance. Take 50, divide by the conversion factor of 5, you get 10 as the answer. Right? So it's that easy. A lot of times you can just do this in your head as long as you know the conversion factor. Try another example. 1 ounce is 30 ml. What's the first step? It's just a placeholder step. So just put it over 1. Every time, just put it over 1. That's so you know where you want the units. What units do you want down here at the bottom? What units? How do you know what units you want? Yeah, it tells you right here. All right, whatever units here you want there because they need to cancel out. They have to be on one on the top, one on the bottom to cancel out. So here we got the ounces canceling out, and we're left with what they asked for, right? mLs. So now we do the math. 35 times 30, and then we can just forget about those ones. Okay. So in this case, did we multiply or divide by the conversion factor? Multiply by 30. So that's how easy it is. You either multiply or divide by the conversion factor. That is it. Your job is to recognize, do I multiply or divide? That's it. That's all you have to do. So it's a two-stepper. First, got to know your conversion factor. Second step, figure out multiply or divide. And you're done. Don't worry about these guys. All right. That was straightforward. That was a one-step conversion. But many times you will not have just a one-step conversion. Many times you might have to do multiple steps. So this is where getting familiar with your conversion factors will help. Yeah, go for it. We can convert pounds into pounds to kilos. What's the conversion factor? 2.2. That's it. So do we multiply or divide? Let's set it up, right? What's the first step into setting it up? You take 150 pounds over 1. Yeah. I taught you guys a couple examples. It's the same all the time. And then what units do you want at the bottom? Pounds. So for every 1 kilo, there are 2.2 pounds. Right? The pounds cancel out. We are left with the units we want. So crunch the numbers. 150 pounds is how many kilos? You take 150 and you multiply or divide? Divide. Since the number's at the bottom, you divide. Right. Fractions. You guys know how to multiply fractions, right? If you don't know how to multiply fractions, then just follow the math. 68. All right, let's try this one. What's the conversion factor from milligrams to grains?
Milligrams to grains.
What's your conversion factor? You gotta know your conversion factor. All right, are we gonna multiply or divide? Your job is to set it up. What units do we want at the bottom? Milligrams. So, are we gonna multiply or divide? It's already there for you. Divide. Alright. So that's it. 15.4. Alright, 50-50 chance. You're gonna have to set it up to see which units you want to cancel out and which units you want to keep.
So the way you want to divide is if you have the top one equals the one at the bottom, right?
The units.
The units?
The units.
Like milligrams and milligrams at the up and bottom?
Yeah. That's how you know which version of your conversion factor to use.
By example, if the milligrams on the second one was on the top, that's when we multiply?
Yeah, you're doing fractions. So all you're doing is taking 150 over 1 times 1 over 2.2. So I took out all the units. I took out the pounds and kilograms.
Okay.
You're just multiplying fractions. You know how to multiply fractions, right? You just multiply across. 150 times 1, 150. 1 times 2.2, 2.2, and then simplify it. Just multiply everything on top across, multiply everything at the bottom, and then divide. So this one is 1,000 over 1 times 1 over 65 equals. Because all I did was took out the units, and then you're just simplifying. So it's just 1,000 divided by 65. So if the number's in the bottom, you divide. If it's at the top, you multiply. All right. One step conversions down. Let's do a two-stepper. Feet to centimeters. So we can convert feet to inches and then inches to centimeters. So how many inches in a foot? 12 inches, right? An inch is 2.54 centimeters. So we're going to take 4, multiply or divide by 12. We don't know yet. And then we're going to multiply or divide by 2.54, right? So it's just two conversions together. Multiply or divide by the conversion factor, multiply or divide by the conversion factor. What's the first step? Yep. So how do you set it up? 4 feet over 1, right? All right. What units do we want at the bottom?
Inches.
What units do we want at the bottom? All right.
Feet.
How many feet?
48.
What? 1 foot
How are you
is
gonna do inches?
1 foot is.
12.
Remember, these are our factors of 1, right?
Yeah.
12 inches divided by 1 foot, that's 1. So now the feet cancels out. What units are we in? We are in inches, right?
Inches.
Now we need to go from inches to centimeters. What units do we want at the bottom? Inches. How many inches? 1 inch for every 2.54 centimeters. Now the inches cancel out, and what are we left in?
Centimeters.
What they asked for, right? So that's how you know you did it correctly, is the units. You follow the units. So this is called factor label method or dimensional analysis, because you got to look at those units. So the math is easy. You take 4, since 12 is at the top, you multiply, and then 2.54 is at the top, you multiply. So take 4 times 12 times 2.54. So it's 4 times 12 times 2.54. So you got a 50-50 chance. Multiply or divide. Multiply or divide. Every conversion step.
So we just round things up?
Yeah, for this example, I didn't give a specific decimal to round to, but in your assignments, I'll let you know. I'll let you know where to round to. Might be life-threatening if we round incorrectly. Laugh in class. Kill all the patients you want in class. Right. When you go out on externship, we'll be a little more careful. All right, ounces, we can go to pounds, and then from pounds, go to kilo. 1 pound's how many ounces? 16. 1 pound is how many kilos, or kilos how many pounds? 2.2. So either we're going to multiply or divide. I don't know, so let's set it up. 90 over 1. What units do we want down here? How many ounces? 16, right? 16 ounces. That's why you have to know your conversion factor. If you don't know your conversion factor, it's not going to help you. So get a list out while you're learning them. So ounces is gone. We are left in pounds, so our next conversion factor. So how many pounds down here? No, we're going to kilos. 2.2 pounds is 1 kilo. So you got to be weary. Pay attention to where you are. So in this case, the math is 91. 16 is at the bottom, so you divide. And then 2.2 is at the bottom, so you divide. So 91 divided by 16 divided by 2.2.
So
Multiply or divide, multiply or divide. That's it.
if the number's on the bottom, that's it, you divide.
Yeah, well, numbers on the top, you multiply. You're just doing fractions. So you got about 2.6. 91 divided by 16 divided by 2.2. All right, so looking ahead for next week, make sure you memorize this equation, converting degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit. So today Math 2 was not too bad. All we did was loser to the left, dot, 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 mLs, right? Metric, metric. How do you know it's metric, metric conversion? You only see
The dots.
metric units. If you don't see mLs, liters, kilograms, grams, milligrams, micrograms, it's not metric, right? If you see any other units, then it's most likely English metric, and that's where you need your conversion factors, right? So, is it fraction decimal percentage conversion? Is it metric conversion? Is it English metric conversion? So when you look at a problem, you got to ask yourself, what type is it? Now, how do I tackle it? All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll work on online week 2B. So we'll do the math portion to reinforce math 1 and math 2.